agree with the committee in its recommendation that plenary should reject this petition. Mr. Speaker, since this is so important to Mr. Laban Msundi, one's intellectual industry should never be challenged without reason. And therefore, on the same tone that the Secretary General Emeritus of ODM has left, maybe it is nice for us to try and understand Laban Msundi. And what better way I can help Laban Msundi in understanding me than to tell him, in the few years I've worked in this house, I've learned why laws are made. Mr. Msundi, why do we make laws? We make laws, Mr. Msundi, so that there is in writing something that can help the maintenance of order. Without laws, the police can do pretty nothing about law and order. And yes, we make laws to protect individual rights. Even the president, deputy president, governor, deputy governor, who would seek to remove through this intended legislation that Msundi speaks to, have individual rights. So unless we legislate, we run the risk of violating those very rights. Mr. Msundi, we also make laws so that they can help us to resolve disputes. And finally, laws are made to ensure that there is justice. Unfortunately, Mr. Msundi, having sympathized with you, I'm unable to see what you are trying to cure by this law that you are proposing, for the reason that there is no constitutional or legal lacuna that you want to address. I therefore must tell you what Professor Ada Obel, the late professor of pharmacology who taught me medicine at the University of Nairobi, for students who used to be discontinued from the program so that they leave any attempts of being doctors, Professor Ada Obel used to call them to his office and tells them that, I am advising you, my son, to go and try your talents elsewhere. On this one, Laban Msundi should try his talents elsewhere. Mr. Speaker, I'm touched by the sincerity of the committee's work, because they took time, they listened to an advisory from the Attorney General, who has been very generous. They listened to the IEBC. They made a very good account on what they thought was the right thing. And finally, they listened to the Forum of County Assemblies. And all three of them authoritatively agreed that to try and do what Laban Msundi is attempting was tantamount to overturning the Constitution. One cannot just overturn the Constitution like that, Mr. Speaker, and therefore, for any sympathizer of this approach, the neat thing to do would be to propose a constitutional amendment. And you cannot attempt to amend the Constitution in the manner that Msundi wants, because already the Constitution of Kenya is very clear. It speaks to how we can amend the Constitution. If Mwananchi, and Msundi is one such a people, are not satisfied with the constitutional powers that we enjoy as senators, members of the National Assembly enjoy, again the same constitution has not locked them out. It asks them, Mr. Speaker, to go ye and ask for a referendum. And therefore, given that Senate is likely to disagree, to reject this petition, Omuswindi is free to go and try so that he could call for a referendum in the constitutional manner. Mr. Speaker, I saw the Secretary General Emeritus of ODM being very philosophical in his presentation when he was supporting the committee's resolution. And I'm starting to think maybe the troubles he has gone through over the last few weeks, few months, maybe it was a good thing. It is not always easy for a young person like Senator of Nairobi to be philosophical. I think that beating that the Senator of Siaya is subjecting him to is good for him in view of what I see the public urging him to do. It will be good for him to arrive there if he does, when he's emotionally strong. And I want to tell him about the story, not a story, but the song by Betty Midler, the one who sang the great song of God is watching us from a distance. Whenever, Mr. Speaker, we are in this house, we must always know that God is watching us. And like Betty sang, when God is watching from that distance, Mr. Speaker, if you are to enjoy the same view and look down the earth looks all green and blue. You never see the red tiles of your houses. You never see the tarmac roads. From a distance, you only see green and blue. Mr. Speaker, the snow-white mountains, you don't see the mountains, you only see white. And if you are lucky at that time, an eagle is flying, you only see it flap as if it is taking off. I say these things, Mr. Speaker, because we have now entered a very dangerous trajectory. The organized goons that we are starting to witness in public rallies, I want to urge the minister, the IG, and the president, just the three of them, to go and reflect. To go and reflect on what's going on. We cannot have every weekend public rallies, church congregations being attacked by armed youth. Even if that is a route that will help some people to ascend to power, or, Mr. Speaker, remain in power, it's not worth it. Senator Omugeni, Senator Manzo, Senator Muma, and Senator Osozi, we were all there in 2007. You saw how helpless we became. We must all, whether we are friends of the minister in charge of security or not, the IG or not, the president or not, put it on record that that is not our future. It cannot be our future. You might be thinking it is happening only in those rallies where Linda Mwananchi is being haunted, the United Alternative Opposition is being haunted, but it's even happening in small areas, Mr. Osoti, Senator Osoti. As small as on Saturday when I was in Kakamega, in Bukhulunya village, the sitting member of parliament of Lurambi had his own set of goons, and his main challenger, Mr. Vikiru, had his own set of goons. So we were there seated at the mercy of these young people screaming and blowing in vuvuzelas, trying to outshine the other, until I witnessed with my own eyes a full-blooded man beat up his own sister because she was in the different camp. I knew it was brother and sister because that is my village. I know the people around. We have to stop this. And you are not going to fight goons and Goonism in this country unless you address the sponsors. You must. I have seen time without count people calling out the principal secretary, Raymond Omolo. Why is action not being taken against him? I saw in Keumbu, all the authoritative media houses pointed out the member of parliament, Zahir. Why is action not being taken against him? What are we protecting? You are all cowards. You can't win an election. If you can win an election, you'll go to Makueni and you call a rally. And people come. Some of us, Osoti and I, because we don't have money to buy people, and we don't come from a background of political leaders who made careers through buying people. Sinde Muliro, Wamalo Kijana, George Welime Captain. I never saw them buying people, and they won elections over and over again. When Osoti stands at Mbale, when I stand at Malaba town, I'm parked, Mr. Speaker, for 10 minutes, chewing a piece of cane or roasted maize. A rally automatically builds in hundreds of people, and I address them. I'm glad that Senator Osoti, you have, I don't know who you copied it from, if it is Baba or from me, thank you. You walk with your public address, a decent man, quiet. People assemble, you climb, you address the people, and you set your agenda. Let Kenyan politicians know that that is the Kenya we want to build. And because some of them were not there, at least all of them, Mr. Speaker, were there on the 25th of June when the Gen Zs invaded us here. It was not easy. I saw my kid sister, Senator Catherine Muma, crying here on the corridors, screaming, "Why are you killing children?" That is how low we can sink. Get rid of this IG. He's not up to it. You need an IG who commands the police, not an IG who is commanded by politicians. Finally, but not least, on this very important point, I want to remind the President the following. One of the pet lines that you made in all the rally that I attended with you was that you will not, if you become president, use chiefs and assistant chiefs and the provincial administration and the security organs to do your politics. You said it, Mr. President, sir. What changed? I support.
Senator Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for an opportunity to